South Korea's military reveals video footage that confirms North Korea's missile test this week failed, confronting what the regime had insisted earlier. U.S. President Joe Biden and former President Donald Trump face off in a televised debate, exchanging harsh criticism and personal attacks ahead of their November rematch. A Korea Center officially opens in New York, aiming to promote Korean culture in North America. We take a look at its journey and what it means. It's June 28, 2024. This is Newscenter. Good evening. Thank you for joining us. I'm Yoon Jung-min. A day after North Korea claimed to have successfully conducted a missile test, the South military released a video of the missile traveling in an abnormal trajectory before exploding midair. Our correspondent Bae Eun-ji explains more.
This is footage of a North Korean missile launch on Wednesday morning, filmed by South Korean military troops near the border. The missile is seen leaving a spiral trail of smoke, rather than traveling in a straight line. Soon after the launch, it catches fire and shatters into pieces. The missile reportedly traveled around 200 kilometers before exploding in midair, spreading debris into the East Sea. South Korea's Joint Chiefs of Staff explained Friday that the abnormal trajectory clearly shows the North did not succeed in separating warheads, adding that South Korea and the U.S. believe Wednesday's test was a complete failure. This comes after the North insisted the latest test launch was a success, claiming that the three separated warheads were guided correctly to coordinated targets.
The missile launched by North Korea yesterday exploded mid-air in the early stage of flight. The North released some other information this morning, which I believe is merely deception and exaggeration.
The South military has been questioning the credibility of the missile launch photos released by the North on Thursday, as they appear to be similar to the Hwasong-17 liquid-fuel intercontinental ballistic missile launched by the North last year. The JCS believes there is a motive to cover up Wednesday's failure, especially following the regime's recent failed attempt at launching a reconnaissance satellite. The military says it will continue to keep close tabs on North Korea, as the regime will likely try to test launch the missile once more. Bae Eun-ji, Arirang News.
The South Korean government has requested that North Korea give prior notice before discharging water from its border dam as the peninsula enters the monsoon season. Ministry of Unification Deputy Spokesperson Kim In-hye told reporters on Friday that North Korea continues to carry out malicious and unauthorized water discharge despite the inter-Korean agreement to let Seoul know in advance. She also called for the immediate restoration of the communication channel between the two Koreas, which has been severed since April last year. 6 people died in 2009 in the border county of Yeoncheon-gun when North Korea opened the floodgates of its Hwanggang Dam without prior warning. Over in the U.S., President Biden and former President Trump faced off in their first TV debate ahead of their November rematch. And from the beginning, they clashed over topics including the economy, immigration, and the Ukraine war. Our Shin Ha-young has the details.
U.S. President Joe Biden and his Republican rival Donald Trump held their first election debate of this year's presidential campaign on Thursday evening local time at CNN's headquarters in Atlanta. The 90-minute debate kicked off at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Entering the debate stage without even a handshake, Biden and Trump immediately clashed over the first topic, which was the economy. Biden blamed the current economic difficulties of inheriting a failing economy from Trump, while his rival argued that he built a strong economy during his term, claiming that the incumbent's poor policies have led to more jobs for illegal immigrants and rising inflation. The candidates continued to attack each other's records on abortion and immigration. Trump also denied being responsible for the January 6 Capitol riots, while Biden called Trump a convicted felon. They also had a heated debate about foreign policy. Trump criticized Biden for the withdrawal of U.S. troops from Afghanistan and blamed him for the deaths of American soldiers, calling it the most embarrassing day in the country's history. Biden fired back, saying Trump had let Russian President Vladimir Putin do whatever he wanted and that the world would be more chaotic if the Republican were president again. He touted his success in getting 50 countries, including South Korea and Japan, to support Ukraine. Trump claimed he got NATO members to pay more for defense and criticized Biden for letting those contributions drop. The event saw President Biden and former President Trump sharing a stage for the first time since 2020. The candidates traded insults and accusations of lying in the acrimonious debate.
I went to the World War II cemetery, World War I cemetery he refused to go to. He was standing with his four-star general, and he told me, he said, I don't want to go in there because they're a bunch of losers and suckers. My son was not a loser, was not a sucker. You're the sucker. You're the loser.
The whole country is exploding because of you, because they don't respect you, and they have to respect their president, and they don't respect you throughout the world.
With the 2024 presidential election just about 4 months away, all eyes are on how the first debate will impact the candidates' approval ratings among voters. 신하영, Arirang News.
Also on the international front, Israel has resumed its attacks in the Gaza Strip, reportedly killing at least 7 people. Israel, meanwhile, says that it had detected dozens of rockets fired by Hezbollah. Cha Yun-kyung has the latest.
As you can see, as you can hear, airstrike, as you can see.
According to residents in Gaza City's Shejaya neighborhood, as well as Hamas, the Israeli army resumed its large-scale operation in the Gaza Strip on Thursday local time, rolling in tanks and firing in the early afternoon, with drone attacks also after an overnight bombing.
This is the occupation, as you can see. This is the occupation. This is the occupation targets, as you can see. You can just watch the children, targeting children here in the Shejaya neighborhood.
The Palestinian Civil Defense says at least 7 Palestinian people were killed in the strikes and numerous people were injured by the Israeli army's attack. The rescue teams had to dig out wreckage from collapsed houses to find survivors. The Israeli army has portrayed its current operation under the pretext of attacks by Hamas-led militants while hiding in a civilian neighborhood. Israel ordered civilians in part of Gaza City to evacuate to the south as heavy strikes and multiple casualties have been reported. According to Israeli media reports, the Lebanese paramilitary group Hezbollah, which has been supporting Hamas, fired 40 rockets toward the military base in northern Israel on Thursday. Hezbollah said the attack was in retaliation for Israeli strikes on the southern part of Lebanon. Israel has recently been raising the level of threat by posing targeted airstrikes toward the commander of Hezbollah. Pundits say that the warfare between Israel and Hezbollah will grow into larger wars unless they have a successful outcome for ceasefire negotiations. Cha Yun-kyung, Arirang News.
Earlier this week, we brought you a story about a traditional Korean music performance in Times Square promoting the opening of the Korea Center in New York. The center officially opened on Thursday with a grand ceremony. Our culture correspondent Song Yoo-jin has the story of its journey and what this new center means.
The 6th Korea Center in the world has officially opened. It's in New York, adding to the branches in Los Angeles, Shanghai, Tokyo, Beijing, and Paris. The center brings together overseas branches of government-run cultural institutions, all under one roof. The Korea Center New York will house the Korean Cultural Center, the Korea Tourism Organization, and the Korea Creative Content Agency. Although the Korea Center New York had a soft launch 3 months ago, its journey began way before. Culture Minister Yoo In-chon, during his first term in 2009, decided to purchase this lot for a new branch of the Korean Cultural Center in New York. A decade and a half later, his vision has finally come to life.
Building in Manhattan is very challenging, but now we have a beautiful space to showcase traditional Korean culture, history and contemporary arts. It will be a key space for cultural exchanges with local residents, merging Korean and other cultures to create something unique.
The wait has been worth it. The previous Korean Cultural Center rented the 6th floor of a 22-story building on Park Avenue. Now it uses most floors of this newly constructed 7-story building wholly owned by the Korean government. The basement houses a 190-seat theater for movies and performances ranging from traditional Korean music to classical music and K-pop. Both the first floor, featuring a media wall, and the spacious second floor are dedicated to visual arts. The third floor is a library, the fourth has a kitchen for Korean food classes, and the top 3 floors provide office space for the 3 institutions. Thursday night's opening event brought together notable Koreans and Korean Americans who are making their mark in New York.
A few years ago, I participated in an event at the Old Korean Cultural Center, New York. I've been interested in the center ever since, and now, seeing it in this beautiful new space, I'm excited for the many cultural events that will take place here.
The event started with the Mungut and Chugon Binari performance by the National Kugak Center Folk Music Group, a traditional ritual wishing prosperity and good fortune. Following this, the National Kugak Center and the New York Classical Players Chamber Orchestra put on individual performances, concluding with a joint performance of the Korean folk song Arirang. Another highlight was the Boundaries of Existence exhibition by renowned costume designer Lee Jin-hee, featuring over 40 works, including stage designs, traditional Korean costumes, sculptures, paintings, and media art, showcasing her unique hand-stitching techniques.
To better introduce Korean culture to New York, I selected and showcased works that are distinctly Korean, highlighting traditional colors and lines.
Looking ahead, the Korea Center New York will work to bridge Korean culture with mainstream society, focusing on engaging the local Korean community.
With the global rise of Korean culture, these generations of Korean Americans are proudly embracing their heritage. Many are active in the arts, and we plan to build a strong relationship with them by discovering new talent and providing opportunities to showcase their work.
So Thursday's opening ceremony marks the official launch of the Korea Center New York. The center aims to be the hub of the Korean wave in the city, aiming to spread K-culture even further. 송유진, Arirang News, New York.
On the K-pop front, NewJeans was on stage in Japan this week, much to the delight of thousands of fans at the Tokyo Dome. Our Choi Soo-hyun covers the event.
K-pop girl group NewJeans entertained over 90,000 fans at Japan's Tokyo Dome. The group's agency Adore said on Friday that around 91,000 people came to their concerts, Bunny's Camp 2024 Tokyo Dome, held on Wednesday and Thursday. Adore also said that NewJeans' concert in the Tokyo Dome, coming just 1 year and 11 months after their debut, makes them the fastest K-pop artists to perform there. Tokyo Dome is known as a dream stage even for Japanese singers, and American pop star Taylor Swift performed there in February. Other K-pop artists who have performed at Tokyo Dome include BTS, aespa, and 17. NewJeans sang over 20 hit songs including Attention, Cookie, ETA, and How Sweet. They expressed that it was an honor and joy to perform on such a big stage at the Tokyo Dome with fans from around the world. The group's pop-up store in Shibuya was also packed with fans, and reservations to enter were fully booked. Meanwhile, NewJeans' Japanese debut single Supernatural, released on the 21st, has been in the top ranks of the Oricon Singles Charts, the most authorized music chart in Japan, for a week. Choi Soo-hyun, Arirang News.
Military enlistment isn't stopping the members of BTS in their musical pursuits. The group's main dancer and lead vocalist, Jimin, released a new track on Friday afternoon called Smeraldo Garden Marching Band. BTS agency Big Hit Music says that the new track gives listeners a sneak peek into Jimin's upcoming second solo album Muse, which is set to be released on July 19th with 6 other tracks. The new song blends hip-hop with a big band sound and also features South Korean rapper Loco. latest report shows facility investment, industrial output, and retail sales losing ground in May. An Sung-jin has the details.
Despite a strong performance in the chip sector, the month of May logged a triple minus for industrial output, production, and investment. According to data from Statistics Korea on Friday, overall industrial production dropped by nearly 1% compared to April. This is largely due to a decline in production in the mining industry, including basic metals and output for materials used to make automobiles, while machinery production also fell. However, production in the semiconductor industry saw its first rebound in 3 months. As production increased, chip exports saw stable outflow, with inventory reduced by 32.8% on year. That resulted in overall manufacturing inventory dropping nearly 10% on year, the largest drop in 15 years. Meanwhile, infrastructure investment fell for the third straight month as investment in transport facilities and mechanical equipment dropped. Domestic consumption has also been slowing down.
Chip exports are showing a solid recovery, but consumption is unable to keep up with production. And due to a base effect from last month, investment is also weak, leading to a triple minus. Normally, production and spending go together, but in this case, consumption is slow to catch up.
Retail sales, a key measure of private spending, fell by 0.2%, falling for the second straight month as sales of semi-durable goods such as clothing dropped, even though sales of non-durable goods such as food and durable goods such as cars increased. An official from Statistics Korea, however, noted that with a rebound in consumer sentiment for June, consumer spending for the second quarter may improve. The agency also noted that the drop in figures for May is largely due to a base effect, with the country's industrial output showing a strong improvement last month, and pointed out that with stable exports, the overall performance for April and May are stable. The government pledged to prioritize economic recovery while providing support for sectors seeing weak domestic consumption, such as small business owners. An Sung-jin, Arirang News.
A tax revenue shortfall for this year is looking certain. Data from the Finance Ministry released on Friday shows the tax revenue from January to May dropped more than 9 trillion won, or around $6.5 billion, which is a decrease of 5.7% on year. The main reason is attributed to a fall in corporate tax collected among small and medium-sized businesses. The revenue collected accounted for just around 41% of the total budget for this year. Naver Webtoon was listed on the Nasdaq Thursday, and according to pundits, it made an impressive debut. Lee Seung-jae explains.
Nearly 20 years ago, South Korea's leading portal site, Naver, launched its Webtoon service in South Korea. And since then, Webtoons have emerged as one of the most popular forms of comics around the world, with 170 million people from 150 countries enjoying Naver's Webtoon service. Fast forward to June 27, 2024, Naver Webtoon launched on the Nasdaq on the U.S. stock market. After trading started, the price of a single Naver Webtoon share traded at $21.30, higher than the upper end of the marketed range. The U.S. initial public offering raised $315 million after the first day of trading saw its share prices rise 9.5%. Closing at a final trading price of $23, the market cap has risen to $2.9 billion, higher than the company's initial first-day target of $2.7 billion. The growing popularity of Korean webtoons has also seen stories recreated into drama series and movies. Experts predict that the webtoon industry will grow into a $60 billion business by 2030. With the platform easily accessible on smartphones, the vertically scrolled format makes it an easy, quick read for many users. Naver's webtoons are available in 10 different languages as its popularity expands globally. Lee Seung-jae, Arirang News.
The Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation meeting will take place here in Korea next year. And the southeastern coastal city of Gyeongju will be hosting the annual regional forum. Park Gon-woo takes a look at what this means in terms of the economy.
Gyeongju City, former capital of the Silla Kingdom and home to some of Korea's most important historical sites, has been selected as the host city for the annual meeting of the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation next year. Gyeongju was reported to be evaluated highly for its historical value and cultural aspects, beating its rivals including Jeju and Incheon. Hosting the event is likely to bring economic benefits to the city. An analysis by Gyeongbuk Development Institute said an economic effect of some 1.4 trillion Korean won, or over $1 billion is expected to be created in Gyeongsangbuk-do province, where Gyeongju is located. With around 200 meetings, including summits between 21 countries and ministerial meetings to be held during APEC 2025, around 500,000 domestic and foreign visitors are expected to visit Gyeongju.
Los Cabos in Mexico was once a small city with a population of only 70,000, but has been transformed into a tourist city of 340,000 through APEC. As we have been given the opportunity, we will make sure to take advantage of it.
Gyeongju has pledged to prepare thoroughly for the event.
We will form an APEC preparatory support group and establish optimal infrastructure for facilities including conference halls, accommodation, and media. We will also provide operational support for protocol, transportation, cultural tourism, and medical personnel.
APEC 2025 is set to be held in November next year. This will be the first time since Busan in 2005 that the APEC summit will be held in South Korea. Park Gon-woo, Arirang News.
The heat was even stronger today. Temperatures in the southern parts of the country, where the heat has slowed down due to rain yesterday, also rose today. Seoul was at heat wave levels at 33 degrees Celsius. At night, the central region will see the start of the rainy season. Rain will begin on Jeju Island early tomorrow morning and expand to the Chungcheongdo provinces and the southern regions in the afternoon. Central regions such as Seoul will gradually be affected by the rainy season at night. Over the weekend, more than 150 millimeters of heavy rain will fall in the mountainous areas of Jeju Island and more than 100 millimeters in inland areas. Tomorrow, Seoul, Gwangju, and Busan will start off at 22 degrees. It will move up to 31 degrees in Seoul and Chuncheon. Next week, when July begins, there will be rainy season across the country for the whole week. That's all for Korea. Here are the weather conditions around the world. That is Newscenter for tonight. Thank you for watching. A panel session up next.